Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the first installment of the CoveritLive University web series. My name is Spencer Kitley. I'm the event specialist here with CoveritLive. We appreciate you joining us today, and we're very excited to share with you all the new features that we've added to the product. In June, we released CoveritLive 2.5, and then in early August, we added some additional enhancements that included channel pages and improved advertising options. And before we get started, I want to briefly review the format of this first edition of CIL University. We expect this webinar to last about 30 minutes, and at its conclusion, we will take questions, which can be sent via the WebEx client chat window. Additionally, if you've received a question, or if you have a question during our presentation, you can contact us through the CoveritLive chat link that you received with the WebEx login information. Our staff members, myself and David Glenn, will be able to answer questions live in that chat window. In the near future, we will post this webinar on the web where you can view it again or refer to others. You'll receive an email from us when the webinar is posted on our site. Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce the host of today's webinar, the General Manager of CoveritLive, Ben Schneider.
Thanks, Spencer. As Spencer mentioned, this is our first edition of CoveritLive University, and I want to thank everyone for joining us and for dialing in and giving us a few minutes to get going. One of the things that I think is important to kind of set forth is this is definitely the 101 edition of CoveritLive, and in getting started with these, what we wanted to do is give a good background on recent enhancements and features we've made and kind of important areas of use of CoveritLive that those impact that we know are important from our customers based on feedback we get from you guys. As CoveritLive and the CoveritLive University series advances, we'll be going deeper into each of these topics, and in future sessions focus more narrowly on specific things, whether it be SEO or monetization or engagement inside of live events and those sort of things, and go deeper on specific features in those areas. But we thought for the first session it would be good to get a background on a number of new things that we've added, and that'll set the stage for some of the upcoming sessions as we go deeper in these areas. So starting with that, we're going to hit a lot of topics today and spend a little bit of time on each of these and talking about a few new features in those and making sure you know about some of the new things that you can do with CoveritLive. And several of those features are outlined here, and they include our new SEO-enhanced channel pages that just launched a couple of weeks ago, and a new feature that allow for a CoveritLive hosted page that looks like your site is branded by your site and has a domain that matches your main domain but is delivering the CoveritLive content server-side to make it SEO accessible. A second feature that we'll look at a little bit that we added a few months ago is a new pre-roll capability that allows you to introduce video or display advertising or even just introduction and bumper or whatever it makes sense for your event on the front end of an event. Both of these features currently are only available to our custom subscription customers. So if you're currently a self-serve subscription customer, a monthly plan, and you're interested in these options, then you can contact us, but it'd be great to learn more about them so you know the possibilities. All the rest of the features we'll talk about are available to all of our customers, and those include our new and improved analytics that we've added and some of the upcoming features we have there, as well as some improvements we've made around Facebook and Twitter. And I'll also speak to a few of the items that we have on the roadmap relative to all of these different areas. As Spencer mentioned, and as you should have received in your email invites, you can ask questions at any time during the live CoveritLive event that's running. And we can also answer some questions at the end. And if some things are only specific to you as a customer or your case, we'll follow up with those individually. So one of the things that I want to do is give you a little bit of an overview of these features. I also want to demo some of the new ones and let you guys see them in action and get a little bit better of an idea. The first area we'll start with is the new SEO-friendly channel pages. And what these do, mentioned briefly in the introduction, they're designed to give you some SEO insight and SEO benefit from running your live event. So one of the key things to remember is that if you throw up the event within just minutes and then pick away and go, even if it's available to search engines, you're not likely to get very much traffic from search because it hasn't had an opportunity to crawl the pages, to index them, and then therefore to calculate that in the results and serve it up to people. That's where, for immediate things, the benefits of Facebook and Twitter and some of the integration pieces we've added there will help you a great deal. However, over the long term, if you put your events in one standard place, or at least have one place that's commonly accessible for them for your site, that has an archive for completed events, that has a list for upcoming events and any current events, and all of that event content is also accessible by search engines, then obviously you are going to get more and more traffic to those over time, and particularly for replays and things like that as well. So with that, we introduced channel pages, and essentially they're a way for us to host a page under a domain such as live.yoursite.com that looks like your site and serves up all of your event content and allows you complete control of the look and feel and everything that's wrapped around the CoveritLive event, but it's delivered from our system and delivered server-side so search engines can access it. You can see some examples here of in concept and when you see these in reality, they'll look like standard CoveritLive events just embedded in your site, but they will come under a domain that you can decide, and they can also be customized with a template update depending upon what you want around that CoveritLive event on our hosted area. I'll actually want to jump in now to a demo because I think that helps to show this off a little bit better. And I went ahead and set up a ticker just to give us something to work with today that I have running right now. And when I jump into this ticker in just a second, whenever you have channel pages enabled under your account, you'll see a new option for publishing this ticker to a specific channel page. But also you'll notice if you have channel pages enabled that there's a new section whenever you're logged into the CoveritLive console under Extras. Now there is a bit of setup that is involved. You do need to communicate with us what you want your domain to be, and we have to be able to set that up DNS-wise and give you some instructions to set up for your DNS. But then once that's done, you can manage it completely from within the CoveritLive console. So for today's purposes, for a lot of our demos, I'm going to be using a page that I created called Demo Cover. This is a sample website that I created just to use us for practices, for showing off good examples, for showing off some of these features. So it's actually accessible at www.democover.com. Anybody can go there. You can jump into another browser and see it if you want to. It's a simple one-page website right now, but you can see this is what it looks like. Now, through CoveritLive, what I've said is that I want to have a CoveritLive channel page set up for democover.com called live.democover.com. I've already set up the DNS instructions for that, and the CoveritLive team has set up live.demo.cover.com to be associated with my account. Now, once that's done, I can select that, and I can have as many channel pages as I like, and then any that are set up for my account, I can select from the drop-down and configure. And essentially what I do is I see first where the live URL is, and then I can point to a template, and this template can be anywhere, any page on my domain or elsewhere that has the layout of the page that I want to show. And in this case, this is the layout that I've created. It looks just like my live democover.com site, but I put a little section over here for our live coverage. And inside this page, it's a very simple template for anybody who's got a little bit of familiarity with HTML. I've simply made a page, I've put a background image and some titling on it, and then I have a very simple embed code to put inside that template that tells CoveritLive where you want the CoveritLive event to be placed. Now I'm going to tell CoveritLive where that template lives, and this is the URL location for that. We'll automatically crawl and update that template periodically, or you can come to the system at any time and tell us and force the system to go update it right away. And then once I do that and I hit live.democover.com, I now have a site that shows my template in my background but has inserted the CoveritLive content within it. It's hosted under a different domain. This is actually being served up from the CoveritLive servers, but it matches the exact same layout as my democover.com site. And it's inserting all of this CoveritLive content server-side so it can be picked up by search engines. If I click into an event, I can continue to see the event still within inside my live.democover.com domain, and users can get live updates just as they can in a traditional CoveritLive event. A key thing to note about this feature is if you are interested in this and a search engine optimization is something that's important for you and your organization, and you're on one of our custom plans, then you can contact us and we can start getting this set up for you. And you can still simultaneously use CoveritLive with the embedded iframe that you use now. So if you want to run it on pages on your site, on normal article pages, you can do that. You can do that in conjunction with channel pages or syndicated across multiple sites, including Facebook, which is another feature that I'll show in a little bit as well. In some of our upcoming sessions, we will go deeper on this feature as well as other things that CoveritLive does to support SEO, like best practices, our API integrations that you can do, and saving the event content as HTML. But this is obviously a very key one that's very easy to control once it's set up and allows you a lot of flexibility. So jumping into our next feature, we'll talk a little bit about the custom ad configuration options that we've added recently. At the end of May, we introduced a new release that had a lot of features, including our new self-serve subscription plans, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. But one of the other key things that noted for that, particularly for our custom subscription customers, was the ability to add pre-roll advertising at the front of your event. This feature is something that you can do on your own through the API if you have developers who can do and want to insert that. But we added this feature to make it much, much easier and something that you can standardize for those enterprise-type accounts where you always want to have a pre-roll, whether that's for advertising, whether it's video, whether it's display ads or some other creative, or even just an introduction. Maybe you want to introduce one of your contributors, your panelist, or a speaker or something like that, or just have a nice flashy intro. Essentially what this feature adds is whenever you're setting up an event, there's a box right down at the bottom of the event that references custom ads and gives you a few options such as being able to have a close button for the ad, and you simply paste in iframe reference code that will load whatever content it is you want to run in front of the event whenever somebody clicks to get live updates. This can also be done at the template level system, so if you want to make sure that all of the events being set up in your account include the same sort of standardized pre-roll, you can do that. And the code that you reference points to something on your site elsewhere or you get from your ad network, so that way all we simply do is put that content in front of the event when somebody clicks for live updates. And for this, I'll show an example as well. So right here, I've got a very plain, simple page that I've set up with my CoveritLive ticker running. And in just a minute, I'll come back and show that whenever I refresh this event to get live updates, there's going to be a video pre-roll in front of it. If we go back to my ticker and I look at my live events, in the configuration for my live event, I can scroll down and see an option for custom ads. And there's some help information about it, and this is also available on the support site. There is also the option to, as I mentioned, add a close button for the ad. And currently, pre-roll is the only ad type we support, but over the coming months, we intend to add other forms of ad configuration that you could have here, such as an interrupt or an automatic or timed insertion as well. But for right now, pre-roll is the only option available. But all you have to do is simply paste in a code like I have here. So this is a very simple iframe code. It references another page that's going to have a video playing whenever I reference it. I can indicate the width and the height that I want that to be, and this code will be executed as soon as somebody clicks that they want live updates and will then pull in whatever content is being pulled from that site and from that location. So if I show you how this looks now, I'm going to refresh my event. So I'm hitting this page for the first time. It's loading my event, and I need to click to start live updates. When I do that, there's going to be a video that's now rolled that's pulling in from the content from that piece of code that I put in front of the event. In this case, you just did a simple, quick little animated logo version. It's going to go away after a few seconds whenever it's done, and then I get back into the live event. So whether you want to use that as a monetization option or simply an introduction or a nice flashy intro as a way to get your event started, it provides a whole lot of flexibility for you to do that. It should also be noted that within CoveritLive, you have other options for introducing advertising and monetization as well if that's something that you're interested in. And that includes the ability either using the API to automatically inject content or to keep things in your media library and insert those either in a newsflash section or in the actual stream of the content as you go. And a lot of our customers have had success doing that, whether it's inserting banner advertising, display advertising, or text advertising. So jumping on to our next topic, another area that we've enhanced greatly and have a lot of things continued to add on the roadmap coming up is around our analytics. So you've always been able to get a lot of data around your events in terms of views and concurrent users, but with our release at the end of May, we added a number of other features that if you haven't looked into yet may be interesting, and that's the ability to find other details around what's happening within your events, including reader duration and a breakdown of how long the number of users were in for various different lengths of duration, as well as click-through rate and the total number of clicks relative to the number of page views. We've done a lot of work to make these statistics and the data much more accurate and much easier to compare across events. And we've also added a new dashboard that shows you ongoing usage in your current month and how your current events are running for all of the different events and users within your account if you have multiple users. You can also get live data around this and download all of this data afterwards. And coming in the future, some of the things that we want to add are the ability for you to select data from multiple events and do comparisons, as well as see other details around what types of users are coming in and from what sources they're coming from. The new dashboard provides a different look. In addition to just, in the analytics area, you see details around your data and around particular events that you want to know about. But in the analytics area, in the dashboard area rather, whenever you log in and first look at your account, you can see all of the current usage that's happening for the month. And if your account has multiple users in it, you can see that across all of the events that those users are running, or you can select just specific account members to see, as well as go back for other months and see that. This is a great and really useful tool for everyone to kind of see their ongoing usage and what's happening with their events, and it's also a great way for us to communicate with you. We know that oftentimes we've sent a lot of emails in the past around updates and features, but whether it's those getting caught in spam filters or people's email addresses getting updated, whatever it may be, email isn't always the way that everybody finds out and gets connected around most of those updates and information. So we have also introduced new features in the dashboard for communication. We can indicate things to you where if we're experiencing or know that Twitter is down right now and therefore it's not going to be available, or if we have some maintenance plan, different things like that can now be communicated through the console, as well as feature spotlights and links to new features and release notes and things that we're doing. And many of you may have found out about this event today through the announcement we had in the dashboard around the CoveritLive University series. So that's a key place if you're ever concerned if something's going on or want to know what's the latest going on with CoveritLive, what are new features. That's a great place to check on that right rail inside your dashboard. The dashboard is also really important for those on self-serve subscription plans because you can see relative to your plan, relative to your monthly plan, how much you've used already. And it gives you a quick way to upgrade your plan if you need to, or go make adjustments to your plan for coming months if you see that that's the case or that your events are growing beyond what you expected. And with that, I'll also mention in late May, one of the big things that we released was our new self-serve subscription plans. For those of you who have been on annual custom subscription plans, a lot of this didn't impact you directly, but it's good to know for reference in the future, or for others who you know may want to recommend using the CoveritLive service too. For those who are on self-serve subscription plans, the goal with this was to add the ability to remove advertising from all of our usage and put that in your control as something that you control and that we do not interrupt user experience with on your behalf, and also give you control over how much of CoveritLive you're using and pay just according to that. So within the dashboard, you can do things like upgrade your plans. If you want to start with a small plan and just upgrade later in the month as you see how usage goes, or also buy extra clicks at a per usage basis, you can do that. And all of those things are things that you can control. Additionally, on August 1st, we added some additional plans. When we originally launched, we had 3, and we've added, to make things more flexible, we added 2 additional plans, including our Flex plan and the Pro plan. And our goal with all of these is to make it easier for you to move and adjust your usage throughout the year, because we know a lot of you have seasonal usage or have just events that come up in different months that are going to be bigger than others. And our goal is to give you control of that, so month to month you can adjust your usage based on what you expect using from CoveritLive. And if your events grow dramatically or end up being larger than expected, you can always instantly upgrade that and run with that very, very quickly. The key thing to keep in mind is that all of the usage is based across all of our plans around clicks. And the reason we choose clicks is the goal is to only measure usage by the number of users who engage with your event. So if you put it on your home page, you put CoveritLive on your home page, and 80% of your traffic doesn't ever actually click for live updates, then you're not going to get charged for that. You're only paying relative to those who are going to click and read your events and interact with it. And those clicks are measured only on the initial interaction. So the first time a user clicks for live updates or launches the mobile app or takes their initial action, that's the only type of click that we're measuring in those cases. Page views and how many times the CoveritLive window is served up on a page view is unlimited, as well as the number of user accounts that you can have within your account, your Twitter use, and all the other features that are included across all of our standard subscription plans are not metered. So if you ever have any questions about those things, also please feel free to contact us. Now, moving back into some of the features, I want to call out some of the new and upcoming enhancements we have around Twitter and Facebook. And starting with Twitter, some recent changes that we've made in some of our most recent releases have been to improve the real-time streaming API from Twitter and get more and faster results from Twitter for lists and user handles that are being included inside of your event. Now, if you've pre-configured those and are pulling in that content from Twitter, that stuff should come in more immediately now, obviously always pending that something isn't wrong with Twitter or that their API isn't having an issue. We've also introduced a few releases back a new top tweets filter, which is an algorithm that we have that whenever you're including content from Twitter through hashtags or searches or whatever it may be that you do, you have the option to select only the top tweets, and that's a slider that we will measure based on a lot of different factors influencing that tweet, like how many followers it has from the person who tweeted it, retweets, removing apps, things like that. So that's a great way to cut through some of the noise and keep the Twitter content that you're pulling in, and it's very valuable, but only to the things that are most relevant and not overfill your stream with too much. We've also added the ability to auto-promote your CoveritLive events into Twitter. So as I mentioned, particularly whenever you have an event that happens unexpectedly or very quickly and you want to get some promotion for that, if you include descriptive information and hashtag information around that event whenever you're setting up, we can automatically promote that through Twitter for you, so those who may search Twitter for that content can find it and find their way into your event. Some of the other changes that we've added recently include the ability to retweet, favorite, and direct tweets from directly within the console. And you'll also notice that Twitter content is also called out more specifically with the Twitter branding, and those are for terms of service of Twitter, but it also makes it easier on your users to share that content and to recognize what things are coming from Twitter versus what's coming from you directly. A number of things that we intend to add that are on the roadmap around Twitter will also expand these capabilities. We know that Twitter filtering is one of the key areas that is growing and that users are using, our customers are using more and more to pull Twitter content into their CoveritLive events. And so we want to give you more filtering capabilities, including the ability to have certain word lists and or restrict on certain languages. So if you're running, want to keep it, whether you're running an international event or want to keep it to just a particular language to filter down some of the tweets that are coming through, you can do that. Another feature that we intend to add is the ability for you to tweet directly from the console when you're adding event content to CoveritLive. So if you're a panelist or a producer or a contributor, whenever you're typing and whenever you hit send, to be able to simultaneously publish that content to Twitter as well as to your CoveritLive event. On the Facebook side, we've added a number of features over the last year to help with sharing and liking content, and that goes both for those who are running the event as well as for anyone who's viewing the event and wants to share that piece of content out to their own Facebook wall. And that's something that can obviously drive more traffic into your event, assuming that they're public and that you want to be able to pull more people in. And it also gives users a great way to react who may not want to comment or may not be interested in voting on a poll, but are okay with sharing that they're watching something right now that they're interested in. Likewise, at the end of May in our major release that we did then, we added the new feature to easily publish your events and run them completely from within Facebook. Now, this was always feasible before, but it required developer work. You either had to know some degree of the Facebook markup language and go integrate CoveritLive that way, or even when they introduced their iframes, you had to go create a Facebook app ID, a developer ID, and paste the content in. And so it required effort that was a little bit technical in nature. And what we've done is simplified that greatly. So now, whenever you're setting up an event, all you have to do is click that you want to publish that event into a Facebook page, and as long as you're the administrator of that page, you can do that, and then that event can run entirely in Facebook, or you can simultaneously run it in Facebook, your website, or if you have a channel page, you can syndicate it across all of those areas at one time. I want to show a quick example of this one as well. For expedience, I'm already logged into Facebook with an account, and I'm the administrator of this page called Fans of Texas. So whenever I have my CoveritLive events, and I'm setting it up in the configuration area, you'll notice toward the bottom, there's a link down that says, click to add this event to a Facebook page. Whenever I click this link, if I'm not logged into Facebook, it will ask me to log in so that way it knows what pages I'm an administrator for. And then once logged in, I get this view right here that says choose Facebook pages. And anything that I'm a Facebook admin for will show up here. I'm going to select my Fans of Text page and indicate to add it to the tab. Now from here, I can add a logo that I want to put on the tab that's going to show up in the timeline for that page. And on the page itself, I can also customize the name of that tab as well as the location that it has within my page. So now, this event has been linked. And if I want to unlink it, I can very quickly click here to remove that link as well. But let's go check out our fan page and see it. So if I refresh my fan page now, I now have a new CoveritLive tab that's included. And again, I can name that anything that I want. I can change that logo, and I can even move the order so that way it's one of the first things on the page. Once I click into it, you'll see the CoveritLive event completely loaded within Facebook and taking up the full page for the timeline tab. And I can now run my event within Facebook and have users interact from there. As you can also see, since we set up a pre-roll ad, that same advertising would be injected here as well. So this is a great feature if you're looking for ways to engage people around your Facebook pages. This is a great way to do that. It gives them something interactive to be involved in. It gives them a reason to come to your pages and check out content. So letting them know that you're going to run an event there is a great source for doing that. There's a lot of data that indicates even though you may acquire a lot of fans or likes on your various Facebook pages, most people only consume content in the stream or in their news feed. So they don't come back to those pages often, and running a CoveritLive event there is a great way to change that and have them do that. One of the new enhancements that we'll be adding to this will be the ability for whenever you're producing content inside of your event to publish that content directly to that Facebook page's wall. So that way anybody who's a follower or has liked that page will see it in their newsfeed and then know that there's an event running and can go click into it and see it. So similar to what we have coming with Twitter, we want to give you the ability for any of the content that you publish inside your CoveritLive event to simultaneously go into Twitter and Facebook so that way you can drive additional interactions and drive more users into your events. Now, for the last couple of things here, there's a few nuts and bolts things that we've improved that make it easier, particularly if you have an account with multiple users, to manage what's happening with those user accounts and with your event. So one of the things that we've heard a lot from our customers is that if they're an account with multiple users, sometimes the user creates an event and has a problem or doesn't set something up right, and the administrator can't see it or doesn't know how to go get into it very easily. They have to go get the user's login to do that. So to eliminate that problem, we made it to where an administrator of an account can log in as any of the other users in their account and edit and make updates to the event or correct things if they need to. That way they can see what's happening and they can know firsthand and take action on it as needed. This is a nice, just a convenient feature, particularly for those who have a lot of users within their account, and make it so that way if they're experiencing a problem or if you need to go make changes on their behalf, you can do that. We're adding some additional enhancements around this to where an administrator can also log directly into an event without having to log in as the user account and make adjustments and changes if they need to. But it will notify whoever the user is who created the event that that's happening. So they'll know that, oh, the administrator came in and made an adjustment or the administrator's making some changes. They'll get a notification in the console as well as an email or other potential ways that we can inform them. So those are things that we have on the horizon to also further enhance how this feature works. So in terms of covering kind of a quick area and a broad background of all of the different changes we've been making lately and a number of the significant new features that we've added, hopefully that gives you an idea of what we've been focusing on as well as how some of those features are going to continue to evolve in sort of the upcoming months and quarters over the CoveritLive product. Lastly, just to kind of as a reminder, all of our customers, anybody who's using CoveritLive on any plan has access to our API, which allows for a lot of customization and custom implementation. A number of our large customers have done things like that, such as Bill did with the Euro Cup in Germany. In Berlin, Entertainment Weekly has done this with their live blog covering the Oscars and integrating CoveritLive. Lamond out of France has done this for news reports and has a very cool implementation where when breaking news is happening on their page, they'll put just the latest couple of events from CoveritLive on their home page in sort of a little ticker format that they've done through the API, and then when you click on that, you go to the full page that has the traditional CoveritLive event. And then ESPN does a number of things integrating the CoveritLive API into their mobile experiences through their native apps as well as their game trackers. And those are just a few examples of different things that can be done and how the platform can be really customized leveraging the API if you want to do something more traditional, or less traditional rather than the normal CoveritLive experience. So as also a reminder, a lot of you know and have different uses that you've really honed in on for CoveritLive. Live blogging and covering things, whether it's sports or breaking news live, is obviously one of the most common uses. It's also great for chat events like this, where you want to do a Q&A, or maybe you want to run it simultaneously to a presentation and you want to get a lot of whether it's expert feedback or you have a celebrity or somebody who you know is notable that people would want to interact with. It's a great utility for that too. And lastly, keep in mind, if you're ever doing anything where you want to run a second screen experience, whether you control the programming that's on TV or not, maybe you're just following along the football game and you want to invite your friends into an event that's much more localized and honed than just hacking on Facebook or trying to tweet back and forth to each other. It's a great use case for that as well. And a lot of the features that we're building out are to extend and support all these various different uses that we've had across the customer base. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to start with these sessions ongoing and have them recurring every several weeks, once a month or so. And in those sessions, we'll go deep on specific topics. And with this first, we wanted to give you a broad overview of recent features and enhancements, as well as set the stage for some of the future topics that we'll go deeper on, such as SEO and monetization. And our next event, which will be on Thursday, September 20th, will be focusing on SEO specifically, and that's what the entire CoveritLive University session will be about. So if that's of interest to you, then we would definitely encourage you to join us again and come back for that. We'll go deeper into channel pages and some of the things that you can do there and show some more examples of that and other capabilities around that, as well as other options around SEO, whether it's using the API, saving the event content as HTML, and how to use that effectively, or have best practices such as pages that are set up days and days in advance that will have your event and speak to what your event is going to be about even before the event is live. So those are all different things, and we'll go deeper on those topics to address those, and looking forward to that particular session. So at this point, I want to again thank everybody for joining and interacting with us, and hopefully there's been a lot of useful content in this session. I want to open up to any particular questions that have come either from the chat or from the WebEx.